shut them down. I shut them down.
It's a joke to me. It's a joke. Anybody that's been, I mean, I went to high school from 92 to 96, right? So around that time is when I really started being into graph and doing, and I will never claim being an illegal graffiti artist for a long time. There's people that I ran with that I look up to that have always, they've done that. You know, I did a little bit here and there, and I was like, you know what? Drugs were more important, honestly. Drinking was more important. So, and a lot of them, that times like shit goes hand in hand. But for me, it was just, I was busy getting in trouble with the law in other ways. So, but anyway, so I dabble with it a little bit, and then I kind of just kept to my sketchbook in my room and with paintings and whatever it may be. But I'm very fortunate when I went to high school in Bethesda, Maryland. I went to high school with a couple of cats that are very big. They have huge names in the graffiti world, you know, and we still talk, and I feed off of what they do, and I see their success. But it's an art form that I've always respected and loved, and to me, I know that when someone came to me the first time and said, I want you to do a graffiti-inspired mural, and we'll pay you. To say no to that based on what some notion, it's bullshit. It's a kid's notion. Like, and I've always said, like, you know, there'll always be the element of bombing, right? So like going out bombing, doing hand styles and shit, and doing things that look sick. But I'm 34 years old, man. Like the friends that I know that are successful in graffiti, that have literally gallery shows all over the world, and I'm proud as hell of them. And the people that I look up to and that do graffiti, that do it way better than I can, you know. And I like to think I'm good with a can for sure, but the whole selling out thing, and here's the way I see it: if you can get paid to do what you love to do, and you're working your ass off at it, no matter what the hell it is, how can you be mad at that? Or how can you say that you're selling out? I know artists that feed their family and they started doing graffiti, and now they're in their 40s or their 30s, and this is how they make their living. So you're gonna tell them they sold out when they were bombing trains, when you weren't even a thought in their mom's head yet? That's bullshit to me, you know what I mean? And it's a childlike notion, you know, and there's lots of, I mean, I get a little heated about it because it's just like, you know, it's not, I've had to have conversations when I've done workshops with kids about it, because they think there's been this dumb thing that's been passed down with a lot of youth, unfortunately, that there's always going to be the rebel aspect of graffiti. But there's also now, thank God, it's a good thing that now it's been brought into galleries, it's been brought into the professional world. There's guys in suits paying millions of dollars to a guy because they respect and they see what it's worth. It's being respected now. So if somebody could keep it real when they're, you know, 40, living in their parents' basement because they didn't want to sell out, and they're just doing stuff in a sketchbook or doing black book stuff, and I don't respect that. You know, to me, that's just you're being stubborn, and you're not understanding what it's about, you know. And some of the best people I know are artists that live off of what they do. They eat off of what they do. And 9 times out of 10, whether it be me or a graffiti artist that strictly does graph, they can be up all night doing paintings or whatever it doesn't just stay with walls or trains. I mean, they could be doing, and they're up till 5 in the morning, getting up at 8 o'clock the next morning to go to a meeting with this museum or this firm or this architecture. It's a business, you know, and if people do it, you know, the way they want it, so.
Yo, what's up? This is Tajay of the Mighty Souls.
No, I wouldn't say so. Tattooing is definitely been my biggest love over the last, you know, group of years, and it will be for a while. But it's something that I've always been interested in since I started being an artist, and since I've had the chance to actually be tattooing for a while professionally, it's opened my eyes to a lot of things with the art form. And I'm 5 years in, I'm still young in tattooing. I mean, I know that I've been doing it long enough to know something, but and I like to think I try my best with it, and I wake up knowing that I always have a hell of a lot to learn in my art, no matter what it is. But with tattooing, I mean, I don't think it's the end. I think that it's definitely the beginning of the career in tattooing. But no, I don't think it's the end as far as art forms and what I want to keep doing. I like to think of, I've always been an artist. I mean, I've been an artist since I was 5 years old, drawing on my parents' walls. You know, I mean, I know that. I always loved it. And the first thing, it's funny, the first thing I drew, which is my mom still has, a little Smurf with wings, and a little Smurf that I think I freehanded that joint. But I knew probably when I made the decision, I was going to Minneapolis College of Art and Design. I remember it was like over a period of a month, and I was frustrated as hell. I mean, I'm talking like, you know, 24, 25, like lots of kids have done, and just digging in my couch for quarters to get food, you know, and knowing that this was leading somewhere. I didn't know where, I didn't know how, and it wasn't like, you know, I'm not a religious dude, I am spiritual, but I knew that that I was being led to something, and I had years of living like that. Like they say, the struggling artist, like I lived that shit, you know, and I lived like knowing it was getting somewhere, doing so many free jobs, doing things just to get in the door, flying to New York to, and I love doing it, but you know, that's what you have to do, you know, if you want to make this a career, you know. And it was a couple of the first mural jobs or CD cover design kind of joints I did. Those jobs were kind of the pinnacle for me, probably around 2003 or 4. Probably when I was like, I can make a little bit of money with this, you know. And it was a little. It started as a little, you know. Yeah. Paying bills off art. God damn. It was rough, man. It was rough for a little bit. So I mean, professionally, I've been doing it for, I don't know, about 10 years now. And like really professionally, probably like 7. And really, I mean, it's when I started doing a little bit more live painting with a lot of musicians and hip hop acts, and a couple of CD cover design pieces and whatever it may be. But it's when it was around 2005 when again my professor said, you know, you're already kind of living off your artwork. I remember there was it's actually an article right there, but I did a show and they did a piece. I was grateful they did a piece on me in the Tribune in Minneapolis, and that got me a little bit of exposure and whatever it was, and that was cool. And my professor one morning saw that, and she called me over and she was like, what are you trying to do here? Like, you're already kind of, you're promoting, you're already doing your stuff. Like, are you trying to get a degree to work for somebody as a graphic designer? Because that's not what you do, obviously. You do everything by hand. So once she talked to me, I was like, shit, I gotta make some decisions here. I figured I'm just gonna try to make a name and do what I do and do it the best I can. And so that's when I quit school and I dove in with Inkproof and my business and my website. And honestly, I just got out there and I hit the pavement and I started doing all the jobs I could. And I literally was lucky. I can use the word lucky because I am lucky and fortunate, but I also put a lot of time in. Like, I put a lot of days and weeks and years in. People that know me, my good friends, know how hard I worked to get to where I'm at, but they knew that, I mean, it wasn't like a lucky break I had, or, you know, someone hired me to, it was like, and I work for myself. I mean, mainly, you know, I mean, I'm, besides, you know, at the tattoo shop, I work for Shane, but for my business, I'm it, you know, so yeah, so basically I started realizing, okay, it was a good feeling, and I knew it was around that time when I could pay my rent I remember I sold a couple, like 2 paintings, and I remember how good I felt, and I told my parents that I could pay my rent, and I was like, I can do this, you know, kind of on my own. And I remember around the time when I finally told them, like, you know, I think I'm good now, and that meant a hell of a lot, you know, to me, because he, as my dad, always believed in me, but he didn't get the art thing, really. I mean, he tried, you know, and I think, you know, at the end of, towards the end of his life, passed a couple of years ago, but he understood, and he knew that I was going to be okay with it being an artist. You aren't owed shit. You aren't owed anything until you earn it. Anybody that's successful or had success in some form or another in their creative field, you need to earn what you get. And it takes a hell. Some people get lucky breaks, and that's cool if that's their deal. But for me, you always learn from struggle and from striving to get something and falling down 100 times and getting back up, and then seeing the light and falling down. And I had to do that for a long time, you know. So for up and coming artists, I'd say work your ass off. You have to know that it's okay to mess up in your own head, as long as you're messing up. You're the judge, you know, and everybody else isn't even necessarily the jury. They get an opinion, you know, and they get to either buy the piece or not, or enjoy it or not, and that's cool, you know. I mean, art's subjective, and to me, I know that when I was coming up, and again, I like to consider myself still kind of new. Like, I don't want to be done. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm finished. And I mean, I want to have an established career, and I do, thank God. But a lot of young, there's lots of kids nowadays that think that, and it's not just in art, but I see it in music, I see it in other fields, and you're not owed anything by anyone unless you work for it, you know. And you hear it all the time, but it's really true. I mean, if I didn't have the struggles I've had, I wouldn't be here saying this and talking to you, you know. So it all feeds itself.